Those of us who live in South Florida know that we are facing extreme risk of rising seas and are doing all we can to plan for and prepare to protect our infrastructure and our residents. What we've learned over the past decade or so from the scientific data and from day-to-day experience is that we are experiencing much more frequent and much more severe rainstorms. And then beyond the rainstorms, we are experiencing flooding on sunny days with rising tides, especially in October. We've had what's called king tides in South Florida, and because of our porous underground geology, we have water coming up through our drainage systems and drains into the streets. So we realize that we have to shore up our infrastructure. We have to take in the past, the drainage systems that were built according to what was typically expected, a 25-year storm, no longer protect, because what we are seeing are 100-year storms and 500-year storms. In addition to the storms, we are experiencing sunny day flooding and have no capacity. When water is coming up through your drainage system, you have to pump. That's the only way to get the water out of your streets and out of your businesses and your residents' homes. The pumping is extraordinarily expensive. We are looking at needs that are hundreds of millions of dollars at every municipal level. On a regional basis, it's billions of dollars. And those are the challenges that we're facing, is how do we come together and advocate for the kind of funding that we will all need to protect our businesses and our communities from ongoing destruction that we can expect in the future. We have one of our biggest challenges is a governor who refuses to acknowledge that we are living through the kind of extreme weather patterns and events, and that the state has a responsibility to bring together the resources, the tools, the information, the expertise, and most importantly, the funding to provide the protective measures that everybody expects government to provide, so that they can continue to live in harmony and run a business and commute where they need to go and not have to deal with flooded streets on a regular basis. Those of us who are at ground zero, living on the coast puts you squarely at ground zero for the extreme weather, whether it's a flooding event, a storm surge event. We are the ones who have to provide the protection. How to do that is a challenge no matter where you live in this country along coastal communities. What we've learned in South Florida is coming together on a regional basis and putting together a climate action plan, advocating on a regular basis as a 4-county region has been extremely successful. We hope to be able to share the opportunities that we've found by working on a regional basis with those around the country, and we hope we'll be able to learn from those elsewhere in coastal regions what has worked for them in terms of bringing together tools and resources and planning for how we protect in the future. So I'm here both as the mayor of a coastal community in South Florida and as the chair of the Energy, Environment, Natural Resources Committee of National League of Cities. As the chair of that committee for the past 6 years, I have heard from municipal officials all over the country what the various risks are that we are facing as a nation. And it's different. The risks are very different depending on where you live in this country. The risks that are specific to us who live on coastal communities are important for us to come together at a conference like this so that we can understand what the best practices are that have been developed for elected officials who live on coastal communities, and we can share what's worked for us or what our barriers and challenges are, and together come up with resources, tools, and an action plan that we can rely on and take back to our communities. So for those candidates who are running for president, so for our presidential candidates, the most important message I think that would come out of this conference is that as a nation, we need to better plan for and protect our natural resources, our built environments, and our coastal communities. And the resources include financing for drainage, for rising up our streets and our buildings. If we want to continue to rely on the economic vitality of coastal communities, then we need to invest in protecting our coastal communities.